Hello lovelies, my name is Stephanie and welcome back to my channel and to my third collaboration with the lovely Chloe Connection. Yeah, that's when you say hi.
Oh, hi. Hey, everyone.
And in today's video, we're continuing on with our original collaboration kind of idea of the best and worst. And today on my channel, we were talking about the best things about having gender reassignment surgery or sexual reassignment surgery. Well, seeing as this is my channel and Chloe is of course the guest, Chloe is going to start us off with the first best thing about sexual reassignment surgery.
I would be honored. So, our first best thing about SRS is all of the gender euphoria that comes with, you know, kind of just feeling that you're home in your body, feeling that you're more whole after having the vaginoplasty, after having the SRS. Like, I felt like this was like a huge weight that had just been lifted in multiple ways, like literally and emotionally. And you know, just finally being able to be in a body that feels more aligned with who I am. It feels more aligned with my gender. You know, being able to just look down there and feel like everything is finally in place and finally the way it should have always been. And just everything feels right.
Yeah, it's that amazing, you know, euphoric feeling of just feeling comfortable in your own skin. You know, as trans people, we often grow up and we associate with our bodies like never knowing what it feels like to feel comfortable within your skin. And while SRS doesn't necessarily mean that you're immediately gonna accept all of the flaws with your bodies, because I don't think anyone ever does, it's like, it's that immediate euphoric feeling, that weight lifted off your shoulders of finally having the genitalia and being in the body that you feel you were always meant to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a really brilliant feeling. And building on from that, you know, as we kind of touched on, the changes of the perceptions of your body becomes very, very different. Like my relationship to things like my face and my actual physique changed so much after having gender reassignment surgery, because it seems to me that like before you have surgery, it's kind of a focused like pinpoint area for all of your resentment of your own kind of identity and things. It's very easy to fixate on your genitalia and kind of use that as a way to feel dysphoric, and then all of a sudden it just completely changes your relationship with the rest of your body, because you no longer have this like extra piece of baggage, this literal extra piece of baggage that you never wanted, never needed. And so it does just completely change your relationship with the rest of your physical self.
I was able to appreciate the rest of my body and just who I am much more once that problem was solved, so to speak.
Yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, I mean, I feel like, as Chloe said, you know, it's that weight lifted and, you know, the relief and that euphoria, and that's definitely a great first thing to start with. So next up is the possibility of the kind of cost coverage of surgery. This is definitely something that could be both in kind of best and worst, and I'm sure if you saw our worst video over on Chloe's channel, then you'll know that this was touched upon in the worst video as well. But we both had our sexual reassignment surgery in ways that it was covered in different kind of financial paths. So in the States where Chloe is, it was covered with insurance, and in the UK where I am, it was covered on the NHS. And so the wait times, although they're very, very long, covering the cost of what is essentially a £30,000 surgery, or whatever that is in dollars, because I can't do the maths right now, it's got to be one of the best things to know that there's healthcare in place that can cover that cost of something that's so affirming. So that's definitely something that felt like it needed to be included on this list.
It's something that many of us do need. Not all of us desire to have sex reassignment surgery, but for those of us that do need it and do want it, it's like life-changing, and it's great that we can get most, if not all, of the cost covered. It can be complicated, and here in the US, there's lots of loopholes, lots of barriers and things to jump over to get to that point, but the fact that it is an option much more regularly than it was even just like 5 years ago to get this covered is really great.
Yeah, it just kind of shows how far the kind of westernized medicine has come in understanding how important this is to our health and to who we are as people.
Well, I feel like our next point is probably an obvious, but, you know, after you have sex reassignment surgery, you now have a vagina. Yay! At least for, you know, obviously trans women that are getting sex reassignment surgery. Yeah, I can talk. But it's like, you know, that's kind of the point of it, but it's just like a great thing that, you know, there's all these pluses that come out of like just feeling at home in her body and all these things, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, I have a vagina now, and having that realization is pretty fucking great, I'm gonna be honest.
It's, yeah, and like waking up from surgery and just like the immediate like, oh my god, I have a vagina now. It's such a straight, it's like a really difficult feeling to describe. I was very emotional, I did lots of crying, but yeah, they're like, you have a vagina now. Like, you no longer have genitalia that you don't associate with, that you never needed, that you never wanted. And so all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, all of this work I've put into my transition, the years I've been doing it, the kind of abuse we've been putting our bodies through of like blocking hormones and putting in new hormones and the mood swings and the mental health things that come with it, and, you know, suicidal tendencies and all of those things. And like all of a sudden it's like, you have a vagina now. Everything you've worked for has kind of happened because it's like, there it is. And you're just there like, oh my god, it's right there. Do you know what? It's just, it's such a strange and brilliant feeling.
And it still feels strange and brilliant, like you said, even almost three and a half years after having surgery for me, and it still feels amazing.
It just doesn't go away, does it? It's just like, you never get over the like, I have a vagina. Like, you just find yourself doing certain things and you're like, oh my god, I remember having to worry about this so much, and now I don't have to worry about any of this. So leading on from that point of just, you know, you have a vagina, the next point is kind of built off of a question that a lot of post-op trans people get asked, and that's, does it look real? Does your vagina look real? And things like that. And the thing is, first of all, the medicine is so far advanced that yes, it does look real. But something that I found, I mean, very reassuring when I was kind of going through it, is that there's so much natural variety in vaginas anyway, like lip shapes and sizes and shades and all of that, like everything like that. You know, there is so much variety in cisgendered vaginas that having a neo vagina, like, there's no risk of it not, there was no concern in my mind of it looking real, because I just knew that there was so much variety. And it's kind of like, it's like snowflakes. You know, we have snowflake vaginas, no two are alike, and it means that it still looks real. There's no like, I think in some people's heads there's some kind of thing as like, could I tell if I saw it? And no, you couldn't. They do look real, and it is very affirming and very reassuring to know that no two vaginas are the same.
And now our next point. I feel like after having sex reassignment surgery, I can finally feel so much more comfortable wearing the clothes that I want to wear, whether it's just wearing things like leggings or wearing swimsuits, and feeling more comfortable actually like wearing the swimsuit out of the house, going to the pool, whatever it may be. Just feeling like I don't feel restricted anymore with what I can wear. Like, I can wear what I want, what I like, without having to worry about like, oh my god, is this stupid bulge gonna show, or is my tuck not gonna be too great? I don't have to worry about that anymore. And you know, it just really takes away a lot of anxiety away of like wearing so many different things out in public, and then it also just brings that enjoyment of like, I don't have to worry about that, I can just be me and like really just show up how I am. I feel like I can't quite put it into words, but it's, yeah.
So yeah, it's just this like, it's this amazing feeling of all of these pressures and all of these kind of preconceived notions that whether or not it was a physicality or whether or not it was like internalized transphobia or anything like that, you know, we were restricting ourselves to certain items of clothing, to like always having to tuck and thing, you know, lots of things that lots of trans women do. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I can wear whatever I like. I can go to the gym without worrying about whether or not people are going to see my tuck. I can, like you said, go swimming. I can wear a swimming costume. I personally am a big fan of wearing no underwear, literally everywhere now that I have a vagina. So there's that. That's really fun too. Going commando, highly suggest it. But no, it's just this really, it's another really affirming thing. And it's like these limitations that you put on yourself when you're pre-op, they're just gone, and you can wear what you like and you can be who you want, and you just genuinely feel very more you. So the next one for myself is feeling much more comfortable within your sexuality. I've found that since my surgery, I feel kind of sexier within myself. I feel much more open with kind of sexual partners. I find, you know, I don't find the idea of someone finding me attractive as like out there as I used to, because I feel like my body kind of matches a bit more. There's still a lot of kind of dysphoria there, and you know, I've got problems with like body image like so many other trans people do, but I feel kind of sexier because I feel right within my skin. And you know, it's just that kind of the ability to experiment a little bit more with my sexuality in terms of my kind of bisexual kind of fluidity and things like that. Like everything's become easier since I've had my vagina. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of zoned out there, but
And that's fine. And on to the next point. Chloe, take us away.
well, I mean, I could also add to that point if, you know, you didn't already say it and my brain just turned off, but, you know, it feels super gender affirming to be able to use the right parts, you know, finally be able to use the right parts. You know, when masturbating or when trying to be intimate with a partner, like, you know, I identify in the A spectrum, so I mean, sex and masturbation, those things aren't super important to me, but, you know, when the mood strikes, I guess, so to speak, which doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's nice to be able to not feel completely repulsed or feel completely dysphoric when I do try to engage sexually with myself or with a partner. So our next point, we've kind of already touched on it, but you know, it's nice to not have this extra thing in the way. We no longer have to tuck. You know, no more tucking, I think, is one of the many amazing things about now having a vagina. You know, like we said before, it kind of allows us to feel much more comfortable in wearing what we want to wear when we want to wear it, whether it's like workout clothes, going to the gym, going to the pool, whatever it may be. And, you know, it's just, I can just feel more comfortable in my own body, whether I'm at home or out in public, whatever it may be.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, tucking can be painful depending on what you're using. I know when I was tucking, I just used to use a gaff, but some people, you know, they use tape. If you're going swimming, you have to use certain things. And so it's like, it can be really painful to your genitals to have to do that. So it's nice when you like don't have to tuck, and obviously you can wear the clothes you want and things like, but also just eradicating that general uncomfort that you feel every day and not having to like self-inflict that. It's very nice. Like very, very nice.
Yeah, I was also pretty lazy and bad at tucking, so, you know, because my bladder is like this big and I'd always have to go to the bathroom like every 30 minutes. It's like, why am I going to spend the time making a great tuck if I'm just going to have to undo it? So I just didn't do great tucks sometimes, and that's okay. I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, now you don't have to do any types of tuck anymore.
Perfect. Nothing to tuck.
Nothing to tuck. Oh my god. Absolutely. So next up, our kind of final point is not having to take testosterone blockers anymore. So obviously when you have your penis, you have the tissues removed and then the skin inverted and things like that, you lose the testicles, which means that the production of testosterone, it completely stops in your body. You are devoid of testosterone, and this is great in terms of no longer having to have a drug injected or like taken into your body that you don't need anymore. But it's also nice, it's like very affirming to wake up and be like, there's no testosterone in my body anymore. Like, my body is only the estrogen that I take. Like, I only have estrogen in here now. So it's very affirming, and it's very nice to no longer have to have injections into your butt muscle, because they were painful. And when you struggle with like body identity, walking into a hospital and then being like, drop your drawers, I'm just there like, no, I don't want to.
No, thank you.
No, thanks.
Yeah, it's great. They don't have to do spironolactone anymore. That's what I took for blocking testosterone. Don't gotta do that anymore. That stuff is annoying because it always made me feel bloated and had to go to the bathroom like even more often. It's like my tiny bladder was like in a vice. It was perfect. And you know, it worked. It did its job while I needed it, but now my T levels are low permanently. It's kind of a great feeling to just think about that.
Yeah, it's just such a nice thing to know that your body is finally has like higher amounts of the hormone that you want it to have, and yeah, it's great. It's really good. It's like your body's no longer fighting against your like own mental choices, which is great.
So, moral of the story, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Absolutely. Yeah. 10 out of 10 would recommend gender reassignment surgery, sexual reassignment surgery. It's great. We can both attest to the fact that it is great. And you can see in this video, in the points that we have outlined for you, why it is great. However, there are some things about it that are not so great. So if you want to, head on over to Chloe's channel to check out the worst things about having gender reassignment surgery. Okay, lovelies, so that is it from the both of us. I just wanted to say a quick minute to thank the lovely Chloe for being here for yet another collaboration.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun, and I can't wait for the worst video and our next 1,000,000 best and worst videos.
This is going to be a regularly occurring thing on our channels. So I really hope you lovelies enjoy these videos. If you have any topics that you want to see us discover and things like that together, if you want to see us kind of talk through, then please drop them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my lovely channel and ring the notification bell, and head on over to Chloe's channel and do the same, of course. And yeah, that's kind of everything, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye! It's such Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Sounds like you really feel.